Greetings and welcome to my channel, dear viewers. I hope you're having a great day. Remember to subscribe to the channel if you enjoyed the video. The Hidden Garden in the Sky. Inside Jonathan Scott and Zooey Deschanel's magical New York City retreat, think indie folk meets vintage Hollywood charm with the intro music, which consists of a gentle, whimsical acoustic guitar and delicate piano accents. Under voiceover, it fades a little, warm, animated, and a little quiet, like disclosing a pleasant secret. Welcome back to the channel, everyone. I'm your name, and if you're new here, I explore the most fascinating houses of dreamers, designers, and celebrities to find the why behind the wow. Today, we're entering an area that feels more like a novel come to life than a celebrity pad. We're discussing the gorgeous New York City residence that the charmingly eccentric Zooey Deschanel and the endearing HGTV king, Jonathan Scott, share. Quick cut. A glamorous but slightly blurry paparazzi-style shot of Jonathan and Zooey entering a building, followed by a calm, sunlit interior shot that may include a close-up of a vintage lamp or elaborate molding. You may be asking yourself, Zooey Deschanel, the queen of tweed charm with a vintage feel? Are you married to Jonathan Scott, the maestro of daring makeovers and modern farmhouse design? It sounds like water and oil on paper. But their house in New York City, it goes beyond a simple compromise. It's an incredible alchemy. It's where Jonathan's eye for simple lines, structural integrity, and elegant efficiency meets Zooey's love of vintage romanticism, delicate details, and light-hearted nostalgia. The outcome? A haven in the concrete jungle of Manhattan that is absolutely distinct, wonderfully welcoming, and seems very personal. The secret garden in the sky, inside Zooey Deschanel and Jonathan Scott's enchanting NYC sanctuary, is the title card. It is superimposed above a stunning wide-angle view of their living room, which features high ceilings, enormous windows, and a blend of modern and vintage furnishings. Standing in a clean area or possibly a home office that is well-lit and elegantly neutral, forget the unnecessarily elaborate pre-war cliches or the usual chilly, austere lofts. This house is completely different. It's a superb example of combining seemingly disparate styles to create a room that seems unified, inhabited, and full of individuality. What's the best part? It's full with details, the kind of deliberate, well-considered decisions that make a house seem like a home. So grab your favorite warm beverage, take a seat, and let's examine the exquisite design elements that contribute to Zooey and Jonathan's NYC retreat's breathtaking enchantment. Soft chime sound effect for the transition. Voiceover cuts over pictures of the buildings outside, which is a typical NYC pre-war facade with maybe elaborate stonework, before the music fades and swells a little before moving inside to the entryway. Let's start by discussing the canvas. Their house is tucked away in a historic pre-war structure in New York City. Imagine lofty ceilings, 10, 11, or even 12 feet. The kind of architectural bones that contemporary construction simply cannot match, and those magnificent, enormous windows that fill the room with that renowned New York City light. Original hardwood floors with that lovely, cozy patina of age, probably wide plank oak. And the diamond in the crown? The plastering. Close-ups. Detailed crown molding around the top of the walls, intricate ceiling medallions, possibly a lovely picture rail. This is where Jonathan's love of fine craftsmanship and Zooey's romantic nature immediately mesh. They celebrated these subtleties rather than ripping them out. Have you noticed that the crown molding isn't simply painted white and left behind? In order to provide depth and keep it from being stark against the walls, it is frequently accentuated with a delicate, warmer off-white or even a very faint, almost noticeable grayish. The medallions on the ceiling? Particularly when combined with the lighting options we'll discuss later, they serve as focus points. Given his experience in building and remodeling, Jonathan would undoubtedly recognize the importance of maintaining these original characteristics for their structural stability. For Zooey, they are the epitome of old soul, charm, immediate history, and instant character. Cut to the host standing at a window and pointing above. The clever twist is that they went beyond preservation. They improved it by adding contemporary sensitivity. The actual walls? Think Benjamin Moore's White Dove or Sherwin-Williams Alabaster, but perhaps something a bit warmer like accessible beige in certain places. Most likely painted in a classy, warm neutral. This produces a subtle, glowing background that highlights the architectural elements without overpowering them. It's a warm embrace rather than icy white. What about the floors? They have most likely been painstakingly polished to highlight the rich, honeyed tone of old-growth wood, but they have been left in their natural state. Whitewashing and trendy dark stains are not used here. It's about respecting the material's natural beauty, which Jonathan's appreciation of high-quality materials and Zoe's love of vintage would both support. Transition, a soft whoosh. The music changes to something warm, yet a little more rhythmic. Part 2. Living room magic. The center of the home, you can sense the blend as soon as you go into the living room. Because of the huge windows and high ceilings, it feels cozy even though it is spacious.
How?
It all comes down to the deliberate mixing and layering. First, let's talk about seats. There will probably be a large, cozy sofa that is covered with neutral-toned, long-lasting, premium linen or cotton blend, soft cream, oatmeal, or warm gray. This is quintessential Jonathan. Long-lasting, functional, and family-friendly. They have a kid. Look at the shape, though. Zoe's touch may be a classic silhouette or slightly rolled arms that pay homage to vintage inspiration. The chairs come next. Here's where the magic takes place. Imagine a pair of ancient armchairs, perhaps French bergeras with their characteristic exposed wood frames and curving backs that have been reupholstered in a striking, unusual fabric. Maybe a rich velvet in deep mustard or emerald green, or a flowery chintz with a contemporary size. That demonstrates Zoe's bold vintage spirit. Jonathan makes sure they are both aesthetically pleasing and practical by making sure they are structurally sound and expertly reupholstered. Examine the layers now. A big, soft area rug that unifies the space is most likely a high-quality reproduction or an antique Persian rug with a fading, gentle color scheme. Throw pillows after that. The throw pillows, oh. Zoe's playground is here. You'll notice a variety. Some with delicate flower prints, some with classic ticking stripes, a tribute to Jonathan's farmhouse beginnings, but softened. A velvet lumbar cushion in a jewel tone, and maybe one with a subtle, odd embroidery, a little bird, a star, or anything whimsical. The secret? They aren't complimentary. They are carefully chosen, gathered over time, and convey a narrative. Because to Jonathan's influence, the scale and placement seem deliberate and well-balanced rather than disorganized. The lighting, too. In a pre-war setting, this is essential. They stay away from severe overheads. They employ a symphony of light sources instead. A gorgeous old chandelier with fabric shades, possibly made of brass or crystal, sits in the middle of that exquisite ceiling medallion. The lovely gesture is that Zoe. Next, you'll find complementary or matching table lamps with glass or ceramic bases and cloth shades that provide a soft, diffused glow on either side of the sofa or console. Jonathan's eye for symmetry and practical job lighting. Maybe a sculptured floor lamp for reading in a corner, a combination of a classic function and a current form. The outcome? Despite the high ceilings, there are pools of warm light that create intimacy in this area, which feels welcoming at any time of day. The secret garden component. Greenery and plants, do you recall the title? Secret Garden in the Sky? It's accurate. There are big, leafy plants everywhere. Perhaps a collection of tiny succulents on a coffee table, trailing pothose on a bookcase, or a tall fiddle leaf fig in a woven basket by the window. This is life, not just decoration. It brings the outside in, which is a much-needed breath of fresh air in the city, softens the sharp edges of the architecture, and provides vivid color and texture. Here, Jonathan's knowledge of biophilic design, the shown advantages of incorporating nature into interior spaces, and Zoe's passion for nature and whimsy come together flawlessly. The plants were selected for their practical beauty, form, and ease of maintenance. Transition. A quiet piano returns after the sound of a light rain or city sounds is muffled. Kitchen whispers. Farmhouse connects with French bistro voiceovers of the kitchen with warm materials and clean lines. Let's take a look inside the kitchen now. Here, Jonathan's HGTV knowledge really comes to life, although through Zooey's artistic interpretation. Forget sterile white cabinets and shilly stainless steel. Jonathan's favorite modern farmhouse aesthetic is probably embraced in this kitchen, but it has a decidedly New York, slightly European feel. Imagine cabinets in the shaker design, with their traditional profile and crisp lines, but painted a warm, creamy white or perhaps a gentle sage green. What about the hardware? Most likely old bronze or unlacquered brass, which are finishes that add character and warmth as they age beautifully. Zooey loves things that age gracefully. Countertops are probably made of quartzite or honed marble with a gentle veining pattern. They are elegant yet useful for everyday usage. Zooey would pick the one with the most exquisite, natural veining, while Jonathan would insist on premium, long-lasting surfaces. The main attraction? Most likely a gorgeous range in the classic style. Imagine a Bertazzoni or a Lacanche in a striking hue, such as that recognizable French blue or a rich forest green. This is the epitome of Zooey, a striking piece that is both incredibly beautiful and useful, evoking the charm of a kitchen in Paris. According to Jonathan's spatial understanding, a custom hood above it might be covered in the same tile as the backsplash or in matching cabinetry to make it feel integrated rather than cumbersome. Backsplash and open shelving. The backsplash is where personality shines. To add visual interest, consider hand-painted ceramic tiles in a delicate floral pattern, or perhaps a subtle geometric design in muted tones, or perhaps classic white subway tile laid in a herringbone pattern. Open shelving is practically a given, combining Jonathan's love of showcasing beautiful dishware with Zooey's desire to show off her collection of vintage teacups, colorful glassware, or ceramic canisters. The items displayed aren't just pretty, they're used. This kitchen is meant for living. For baking cookies, Zooey is famous for that, and for family meals. The small things, details, sink, hardware. Take note of the faucet, which is probably a gooseneck design with the same warm brass finish. The sink, a fireclay white, deep, apron front farmhouse sink that is timeless, long-lasting, and ideal for soaking pots. Jonathan's pragmatism, and unquestionably charming, Zooey's romance. If the garbage can is visible, it has a sleek, integrated design. If not, it may be concealed in a custom cabinet with a matching panel. Every little thing is taken into account. Voiceover over calm, gentle bedroom images with lots of texture and gentle lighting. The sanctuary element really comes into play in the bedroom. This is a haven from the bustle of the city, created only for relaxation and renewal. Here, the color scheme is considerably more subdued. The bed is probably a statement piece with upholstery, possibly made of soft linen in a warm neutral color or even a black or white painted old iron frame. Crisp white or ivory percale sheets, a bulky knit blanket at the foot, a duvet cover with a delicate floral design or a faint stripe, and a plethora of pillows in all sizes and textures, linen, velvet, and possibly some embroidery. Make up the bedding, which is a masterwork in texture and layering. Instead of being staged, it appears invitingly rumpled. Jonathan makes sure the mattress and foundation are of the highest caliber for real sleep, while Zooey's passion for warm, tactile comfort is clear. In NYC, window curtains are essential for privacy and light control. Expect layered solutions, soft, flowing curtains in a lightweight fabric, such as cotton voile or linen in a light, soothing color, on top of blackout roller shades or Roman shades in a natural linen for functionality. Jonathan's practical side. They may be drawn for total darkness at night or tied back to let in the beautiful light during the day. The hardware, such as curtain rods and finials, would once more be made of aged bronze or warm brass. Customizations and antique discoveries here. Zooey's private collections really come into their own. An antique vanity table with a decorative mirror that might be used as a dressing table or bedside table. On the nightstand was a small black and white photograph in a frame. A soft pool of light is cast by a tiny ceramic lamp with a pleated shade. Perhaps a little pile of books that have been loved. With clean walkways, sufficient lighting for reading, and clever storage options tucked away in the design, such as underbed drawers or a neat closet system visible through an open door, Jonathan's influence guarantees that the arrangement is practical. The secret garden continues adding life and a connection to nature, which is necessary for a peaceful space, is a small potted plant on the windowsill or a nightstand, perhaps a peace lily or a trailing string of pearls. Transition. The music becomes a little more playful, incorporating a light glockenspiel or music box sound. Zooey's touch. Whimsical details and vintage soul voiceover focusing on specific, quirky details. Now, let's focus on the aspects that are blatantly Zooey Deschanel. Her distinct personality adds an irresistible charm and a dash of whimsical magic to the room. The influence of color accents and pattern. Zooey isn't scared of accent color and pattern, even though the overall color scheme is warm and neutral. Look for it in tiny, powerful doses, like the aforementioned bold velvet chair, a vintage Kilim pillow, a set of mismatched vintage teacups on a shelf, or a small area rug in a hallway with a geometric or folk pattern. It's always well-chosen punctuation. Vintage and thrifted treasures. Her passion for vintage is apparent everywhere, from the objects to the furniture. A collection of vintage apothecary bottles catching the sun on a ledge, or a vintage typewriter on a desk, for use or as decoration. Antique sheet music or floral prints in frames. At a flea sale, a peculiar clay lamp base was discovered. These are more than just ornaments. They are historical and soulful discussion starters. Jonathan is probably the restorer in this situation, making sure these treasures are secure, useful, rewiring lamps, for example, and incorporated in a way that makes them seem like a part of the house's history rather than just clutter. This is the sophisticated version of the twee factor. Perhaps a desk with a little framed picture of stars or birds. An artistic stacking of vintage children's books. Something a little out of the ordinary, such as a collection of multicolored glass paperweights or an old globe. It's a feeling of naive awe and admiration for the little, lovely things. This whimsy would surely flourish in their daughter's room, which we probably won't see, but can imagine. Imagine walls decorated with her own artwork, canopy beds, and star projectors. Zooey's instruments are probably a part of the decor because he is a musician. Perhaps next to a cozy reading chair, a finely constructed guitar rests in a corner. One could casually stack sheet music on a side table. This makes the house genuinely personal by incorporating her passion into its design. Transition. Jonathan's influence is suggested as the music becomes a little more regimented. The voiceover for Jonathan's influence emphasizes neat lines, clever storage, and high-quality materials. Jonathan Scott is the expert builder who makes sure the house works perfectly and endures throughout time, while Zooey adds the spirit and the shine. His impact is the unseen structure that gives Zooey's idea a beautiful yet livable quality. The value of layout and flow space is valuable in an apartment in New York City. Jonathan's proficiency in spatial planning guarantees that every square inch is utilized to its full potential. Instead of obstructing passageways, furniture is arranged to promote movement and conversation. Clever built-in storage is probably present. Examples could be media cabinets that hide clutter and devices, window chairs with concealed compartments, or unique closet systems that optimize vertical space. Even on a pre-war footprint, the arrangement feels spacious and open rather than claustrophobic. Quality of materials and craftsmanship. Jonathan is aware that fine materials and flawless craftsmanship are the foundation of true luxury. Not only are the floors sanded, but the greatest products are used to ensure their life. The hinges of the cabinet are soft close. The bathroom or kitchen tile work is precisely aligned. With several coats for depth, the paint job is perfect. He knows that by making an investment in the structure and the bones, the house will age beautifully, much like Zooey's cherished antiques. Contemporary amenities. Integrated effortlessly, he makes sure that modern life is easy. Most likely, smart home technology is present but concealed. Features like integrated sound systems, automated shades, and effective climate management are all subtly operated and never take away from the aesthetics of the house. With professional-grade appliances, that gorgeous range, and an efficient layout, the kitchen is a chef's paradise. High-end equipment and spa-like finishes, such as heated floors and deep soaking tubs, are common in bathrooms. The clean lines, Scott standard, Jonathan's penchant for simple lines maintains equilibrium even in the midst of Zooey's patterns and antique treasures. The main sofa's silhouette, the coffee table's design, perhaps a large, straightforward wood slab on metal legs, and the console's clean surfaces keep the room from being visually cluttered or chaotic. It's the antithesis of Zooey's yang. Transition. The music blends the fanciful and the structured as it gradually rises in harmony. The alchemy. How it works remaining in the neutral area and thinking more how, therefore, can two individuals with such seemingly disparate design languages come up with a house that seems so theirs and cohesive? Finding common ground and having a great deal of respect are more important than one person controlling the other. First of all, they have similar basic values. Quality over quantity. They make long-lasting investments in items they adore. The main priority is comfort. This house is meant to be lived in, not just seen. Authenticity. It's not a magazine spread. It's a reflection of them. Love of craft. They value the artistry that goes into a piece of crown molding that is expertly mitered or a ceramic mug that is hand-thrown. The art of curation and compromise. Zooey might discover a vintage rug with a lot of patterns that she loves. Jonathan makes sure it's cleaned and protected, and he helps her choose the ideal location for it so it can be a focal point without taking over the space. Jonathan may recommend a sleek, contemporary media center. To soften the top's lines and add personality, Zooey accessorizes it with her assortment of old books, a little plant, and an oddball lamp. Together, they curate. They make edits. They recognize that a house is a dynamic, ever-changing entity. The NYC context there is an additional dimension to living in New York City. Because of the restricted space, every decision is deliberate. The house must be an actual haven from the bustle of the streets below. Large windows and high ceilings are used to create an open, light-filled space that helps people who are afraid of cities. High above the busy walkways, the secret garden elements, the plants, the cozy textures, and the personal items are crucial to establishing the feeling of tranquility and private haven. Concluding remark: their house is completely unique. Deschanel Scott style. It is cozy, layered, smart, cozy, romantic, pragmatic, whimsical, and intensely personal. It is not merely a mashup of Zooey style and Jonathan style. It demonstrates that opposites may work together to create something much more intriguing and beautiful than merely being attracted to one another. Outro music, a slightly larger and more resolved version of the intro theme. Back in the comfortable setting, grinning broadly at the camera, what are your thoughts? Do you like this fusion of contemporary sophistication and timeless romance? Do you think you could live in a place like this? Please share your opinions in the comments section below. Which elements most appealed to you? The vintage chandelier, the striking cooking range, the layered linens, or the hidden garden plants? Give this video a thumbs up if you liked this in-depth look at Zooey and Jonathan's gorgeous NYC retreat. It greatly supports the channel. Please click the subscribe button and the notification bell to ensure that you don't miss our next exploration if you find it fascinating how celebrities combine their styles, or if you enjoy learning about unusual home design. Final shots. Montage of the most exquisite elements, such as the kitchen range, the vintage chair, the molding, the plant-filled area, and the comfortable bedroom, all set to the upbeat outro soundtrack. We have some amazing homes coming soon. Keep in mind that the most exquisite homes aren't about keeping up with the latest fashions. Rather, they are about expressing your unique style, celebrating your passions, and designing a space that is genuinely you. I really appreciate you watching, and I hope to see you in the next video. Continue creating your own tiny work of wonder until then. The screen fades to black with the channel logo and social media handles, and the music swells to a soft finish.